planted it the spring before he left. A sapling thin as something of its breath. Pressed it in the ground beside the fence. Said a man should leave behind something dense, something that outlives the reason why he went away beneath that particular sky. Keep growing. He planted you before he knew. He never came back to see it take. Never saw the shade that it would make over 3 generations of the yard, over children sleeping in the heart. Summer heat beneath it spreading on, over every grief and every calm. The tree grew wide around the nail he pressed into its bark the morning he left dressed. The tree is pulling me under. I can hear the root thunder. He pressed a nail and walked away to war, never knowing what that nail was for. Grow for me inside the dark. Tree, root, nail, grow. Tree, root, nail, grow. Tree, 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 root, root, nail, 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 grow, grow. Tree, 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 root, root, nail, nail, grow, grow, grow. Tree, root, nail, grow. Tree, root, nail, grow. Press, leaf, press, no. Tree root. The nail is deep inside the bark, now swallowed by the decades of the growing hallow. Wood around it like an answer given to a question by a man long driven. It to ground himself in foreign soil. We found it with the saw, one day of toil, cutting back a branch that had grown sick. The nail inside the hardwood, cold and thick. They say the dead release the things they started, but that tree kept the nail for 80 years. I do not need to know where he was going. I only need to sit beneath what he left growing, left growing. Trust the roots. He planted it the spring before he left. A sapling thin as something of its breath. Pressing it into the ground with hope, giving us the shade he could not know. My children sleep beneath it in the heat, not knowing whose hands pressed it to its feet. Leave your mark, we are still growing. The fence is still there, the nail is still inside. The tree remembers the morning he walked away. Boots arrived in a brown paper bag, delivered by a man with a government tag. Laces still tied the way he tied them last, double knotted like he knew the forecast. My mother held the bag without looking in. For 3 days on the table, paper thin. Keep holding. Some packages take time to open. My uncle finally cut the string one night, laid the boots out underneath the light. They were clean hear the leather thunder. They came back cleaner than he ever kept them. Somebody polished what the ground had left them. Walk for me across the floor. Boot lace clean back, boot lace clean back, boot lace clean back, boot lace clean back, boot lace clean back. Polish, heel, polish, no. Boot lace. We put them in the wardrobe on the floor, still tied the way he tied them at the door. Every winter someone checks they're there, opens up the wardrobe, breathes the air. That leather holds a particular cold, a temperature that never gets too old. My nephew measured his foot against the sole last summer in the dark beside the cold. They say the dead released the shoes they wore, but those boots kept his knot for 30 years. I do not need him walking through the door. I only need the boots to still be in the wardrobe. In the wardrobe. Trust the double knot. The boots arrived in a brown paper bag. Oh, delivered by man with a government tag. Coming back without the feet that filled them, cleaner than the hands that should have held them. My nephew tried them on this afternoon, walking in the dark of someone else's room. Leave your mark, we are still lacing. The wardrobe is still closed, the knot is still his. The boots remember every road he never finished. There was a cup he used for 40 years, chipped along the handle, worn through tears of tea and coffee in the morning's hard, standing at the window in the yard. Nobody else was allowed to use it, not because he said so, we just knew it. Keep drinking, some vessels hold more than water. The glaze had faded on the inside ring, left a map of every morning thing he had ever poured into that space. Every winter, summer, every phase of the day before him at the sill. I found it washed and waiting very still. On the morning after he was gone, as if he left it ready to go on. The cup is pulling me under, I can hear the morning thunder. He filled it every day without a thought, never knowing what that habit bought. Pour for me inside the dark. Fill, morning, hold. Cup, fill, morning, hold. Cup, fill, morning, hold, hold. Cup, fill, morning, hold, 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 hold. Cup, fill, morning, hold, hold. Drink, stand, drink, known. Cup, fill. Oh, my mother washed it separately by hand, never with the others, never planned to use it, but she could not put it out. That was never what the cup was about. Some mornings I They say the dead release the things they touched, but that cup kept its place for years. I do not need him standing at the window. I only need the cup to still be there, still there. Trust the chip in the handle. There was a cup he used for 40 years, chipped along the handle, worn through tears, holding every morning that he stood at the window, knowing what he could. My mother washed it this morning by hand, trying it the way only she understands. Leave your mark, we are still feeling. The window is still his, the handle is still chipped. The cup remembers every morning hand that held it. There is a scar across the kitchen table, running left to right like some old fable. Nobody remembers how it got there. It predates the house, predates the chair, predates every person sitting near. Came with the table, came with something dear. Keep sitting. Some wounds arrive already healed. Company would run their fingers down it. Every guest who came would always find it. Ask about it over soup and bread. We would shrug and say it came that way instead. But my grandmother would go quiet then, press her thumb into the groove, and when we asked her what she felt, she never said. Just kept her thumb inside the scar instead. The table is pulling me under. I can hear the wood grain thunder. Nobody cut it, none of us were there, but we all sat around it like a prayer. Sit with me inside the dark. Table groove, old scar. Table groove, old scar. Scar, table groove, groove, oh, oh, oh. Scar, table, scar, scar, table, table, scar, table, scar, scar, table, scar, scar, table, groove, oh, scar, table, scar, table, scar, table, groove, oh. Press, hold, press, no, scar, table. When my grandmother passed, we kept the table, moved it 3 times, always when able, to find a wall that let it sit just right, with the scar facing east to catch the light. My daughter traced it with a crayon once, left a red line in the groove for months. We did not clean it out, we left it red, a child's color in an old wound's bed. They say old furniture holds nothing living, but that scar held my grandmother's thumb. I do not need to know what made the cut, I only need to press my thumb inside it. Press inside it. Trust the groove. There is a scar across the kitchen table, running left to right like some old fable, carrying a history we cannot name, older than the
lesson.
The table is still scarred.
The groove is still deep.
The wood remembers every thumb that found it. Even in the winters, even in the bite of January cold that cracked the sill, said the room needs breathing light still. We would find her in the morning, pale and warm, sleeping through the dark and through the storm. Keep opening, a closed room forgets how to live. After she was gone, we shut it tight, latched it on the first November night. Woke up in the morning, something wrong, a heaviness that did not belong. The air inside had thickened overnight, like a room that lost its appetite. My brother got up silent, crossed the floor, opened it and sat down, said no more. Pulling me under, I can hear the night air thunder. She let the cold in so the room could breathe, something none of us had learned to believe. Open for me in the dark. Window open, cold breeze. Window open, cold breeze. Window open, open, cold, cold, cold breeze. Window open, open, cold, cold, cold breeze. Window open, cold, cold breeze. Window open, cold, cold breeze. Window open, cold breeze. Window open, cold breeze. Latch, lift, latch, no. Window open. We keep it open every night now still. January chill, take turns getting up to pull the blanket high, while the curtain lifts and falls against the sky. Some nights I wake and lie there in the cold, feeling something in the air take hold. A presence, not a ghost, but just a sense of someone who believed in open vents. They say the dead stop caring how we sleep, but that window stayed open on its own one night. I do not need her in the room beside me, I only need the cold she let inside. The cold, just the open window. She left the bedroom window open every night. Oh, even in the winters, even in the bite, letting in the dark so we could breathe, teaching us the things we would not believe. My brother has it open even now, sleeping in the cold. She showed him how. Leave your mark. We are still breathing. The window is still open. The cold is still hers. The room remembers every night she let it in. Every Sunday morning without fail, he would take the knife and find a whetstone pail, 7 strokes one side and 7 back. Never more, never less, never off track. Said a dull blade disrespects the hand that grew the thing you cut across the land. Keep sharpening. A blade remembers every stone it met. The knife was old when he inherited it from a man who sharpened it and never quit. 3 generations of the same 7 strokes, same whetstone worn down through the years in soaps of water and of oil and of time. The groove cut deep into the stone like rhyme. I found them both together in a drawer. The knife still sharp, the stone worn to the core. The blade is pulling me under. I can hear the whetstone thunder. 7 strokes is all it ever took, but the ritual was more than we mistook. Sharpen me inside the dark. Knife and stone, 7 sharp. Knife and stone, 7 sharp. Knife and stone, 7, 7 sharp, sharp. Knife, stone, 7 sharp. Knife, stone, 7 sharp. Stroke count, stroke no. Knife, stone, knife, stone, knife, stone. Knife, stone. I sharpen it on Sundays now myself. Took the whetstone down from off the shelf. My strokes are 6 sometimes and sometimes 8. Still learning how to hold the proper weight. But something in the motion settles me. The way a ritual sets a person free from the weight of all the weeks between the Sundays and the everything unseen. They say the dead release their old routines, but that knife kept its edge for years alone. I do not need to get the strokes exactly right. I only need to show up every Sunday. Every Sunday. Trust the whetstone. Every Sunday morning without fail. Oh. He would take the knife and find the whetstone pail. Oh. Counting out the strokes like counting years. Sharpening against the grain of all his fears. I am sharpening it now in the morning light. Getting closer to his 7 every night. Leave your mark. We are still sharpening. The stone is still warm. The groove is still his. The knife remembers every Sunday hand that held it. No, 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 no. Grief is what the soil holds at night. Every loss too heavy for the light. Keep grieving. Don't bury the grief. Every tear was swallowed by the ground. Long before the living made a sound. The earth is carrying what the sky released, pulling every wound from west to east. I cannot lift the grief, but I can feel the weight of something only dark can heal. Still carrying, the soil still carries. The grief is pulling me under. I can hear the earth and thunder. Carry me out of the night. We were never afraid of the weight. Carry me into restless world keeps carrying along. They say the soil forgets the tears it drained, but the ground remembers the way. We do not need the healing, we only need the carrying. The carrying. Trust the grief. Leave your mark. We are still holding. The earth remembers our sorrow. Shadow for dark stage. Shadow for dark stage. Shadow stays when light has left the room, growing in the corners of the womb. Keep walking, don't fear the shadow. Every dark was cast before the sun, by the shape of someone on the run. The night is holding what the day forgot, carrying the weight of every night. I cannot see the outline as it bends, but I feel it pulling where it ends. Still falling, the shadow still falls. The shadow is pulling me under. I can hear the darkness thunder. Fall on me out of the night. We were never afraid of the shade. Fall on me into the dark. Shadow fall, dark stay. Shadow fall, dark stay. Shadow fall, fall, dark stay. Shadow fall, dark stay. Shadow fall, dark stay. Shade grow, shade gray. Shadow fall, dark stay. Shade grow, shade gray. Shadow fall, dark stay. Shade grow, shade gray. Shadow fall, dark stay. Darkness has a texture like the skin, wrapped in every soul that lives within. I reach into the shade to find a face and feel the weight of an unmarked place. But the shadow stays beside the dead, a quiet proof of everything unsaid. Falling side by side beneath the night, while the restless world keeps chasing light. They say the shadow disappears at dawn, but the dark remembers the shade. We do not need the lights, we only need the shade, the shade. Trust the shadow, leave your mark. We are still falling. The night remembers our shade. before the name, in the body of a world without the shame. The rock is speaking through the heavy ground, carrying the weight of every sound. I cannot move the mountain as it stands, but I feel it pressing through my hands to break it. The stone still breaks. The stone is pulling me under. I can hear the mountain thunder. Break for me out of the night. We were never afraid of the way. Break for me into the dark. Stone crack, wait fall. 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 Mountain fall. Stone crack, wait fall. Stone crack, wait fall. Stone crack, wait fall. Pressure is the language of the deep, where the broken ones refuse to sleep. I reach into the rock to find a vein and feel the weight of everything that came. But the stone stays closed around the core, a quiet proof of what the ground is for. Breaking side by side beneath the hill, while the restless world is standing still. They say the storm forgets the hands that shake, but the mountain remembers the crack. We do not need the surface, we only need the weight, the weight. Trust the stone, leave your mark, we are still breaking. The rock remembers our My grandfather kept a rosary in his pocket. Every day for 60 years the locket of his mother's faith carried forward through a life that had lost the believing but knew the weight of the beads was worth the keeping. Said some things you carry not for the praying, keep carrying. Some objects hold the person who believed before you. He was not a praying man, had not been, since something in the war had come between him and whatever the beads were meant to reach. He kept them anywhere beyond the breach of faith, because his mother's hands had worn the surface of each bead, because the torn edge of the cord had been repaired by her 3 times at least, because the particular temperature of them was hers against his palm. The rosary's pulling me under. I can hear the bead one thunder. 60 years of carrying what he could not use. His mother's faith inside his unbelief a bruise. Carry from me what you cannot. Pray with bead, carry proclaim a faith of prayer, just the weight of them against his leg each day. The requiem of his grandmother's fingers on each bead passed through his grandfather to meet the need of someone else who cannot pray but needs the carrying of something that recedes into the warmth of a pocket and stays warm. They say the dead release the faith they could not keep, but my grandfather carried his mother's rosary for 60 unbelieving years. I do not need the prayer to be sincere. I only need the beads in the pocket and the warmth they hold from whoever carried them before. From whoever carried them before. Trust the carried faith. My grandfather kept a rosary in his pocket. Every day for 60 years, the locket of his mother's faith, worn smooth by her, then carried forward by the one who was no longer able to believe, but kept the weight. My father carries them now, same pocket, same faith. Leave your mark, we are still carrying them. The pocket is still warm, the beads are still her temperature. The rosary remembers every hand that held it without praying. My great-grandfather came back on a Tuesday. Nobody knew which Tuesday or which day. Exactly just that one morning he was there, standing at the kitchen door. The air around him different from the air inside the house, as if he carried something wide. Keep returning. Some men come back, but something stays behind. My great-grandmother said she heard the gate, the particular squeak of it, and the weight of a footstep she had not forgotten. Through 3 years of not hearing it, she knew before she turned around. She said the sound of him was wrong and right at once. The ground beneath the step, the same, the step itself, changing in ways she could not take from the shelf of any language that she had available. The gate is pulling me under. Oh, I can hear the Tuesday thunder. He came back through the same gate, different weighted. 3 years of somewhere else incorporated. Return for me through the gate you left by. Tuesday stand, gate back, 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 Tuesday stand. She never asked him what had changed. She said, some questions are more cruel than the dread of not knowing. She just moved around him, gave the changed things space the way say the dead released the mornings they came home to. But my great-grandmother held the changed man without asking. I do not need the war to be explained. I only need the gate and the footstep and the woman who did not turn until she knew. Who did not turn until she knew. Trust the return to the change step. My great-grandfather came back on a Tuesday. Nobody knew which Tuesday or which day. Standing at the door, a man returned, carrying whatever 3 years had earned. She heard the gate and knew before she turned to step the same. But something in it burned. Leave your mark. We are still returning. The gate is still there. The squeak is still his. The kitchen remembers the morning it held. What came back changed. Cassette inside a biscuit tin, labeled in a hand we had not seen. My father held it up against the light, said he recognized the writing from a night 40 years before in someone's car, driving somewhere underneath a star. Keep listening, some voices wait decades to be heard. No player left inside the house. Spent a Sunday quiet as a mouse. Driving to 3 different charity shops, looking for a player that still stops and starts the way the old ones used to do. Finally found one, dusty black and blue. Brought it home and sat around the thing. Not one of us was ready for the spring. The cassette is pulling me under. I can hear the tape head thunder. We pressed play and held our breath as one, waiting for a voice we thought was done. Speak to me from inside the tape. Tape play voice, wait. Tape play voice, wait. Tape play voice, wait. Tape play voice, wait. Tape. Singing something without words, just a melody that moved like birds. Through a room we had not heard him fill since before the house had gone so still. He was young on that tape, younger than any memory we had of the man. We sat there till the tape ran out, and then my father pressed rewind and played again. They say the dead go silent in the end, but that cassette held 40 years of him. I do not need the words to understand. I only need to press play one more time. One more time. One more time. Drop. One more sit inside a biscuit tin, labeled in a hand we had not seen, holding something none of us had kept, a voice still singing while the household slept. My father pressed rewind again just now, listening to a man he used to know. Somehow leave your mark. We are still pressing play. The tin is still there, the label is still his, the tape remembers every note he ever sang. My great uncle drew a boat for 30 years. Same boat every winter through the tears of cold and lamplight at the kitchen desk. Always the same harbor, always the same mess. Curve of hull, the same mast, the same rope. Coiled on the deck, the same impossible hope. Keep drawing. Some voyages only live on paper. He had never sailed, had never left the town. Born inland, died inland, never found the water that he drew with such detail. Every wave considered, every sail. We asked him once, where did you see this boat? He tapped his chest and said it lives by rote. In here since before I had the words, since before I understood the birds. The harbor is pulling me under. I can hear the inland thunder. He drew the sea from somewhere deep inside, a water that he carried till he died. Sail from me across the page. Boat, draw, sail, stay. Boat, draw, sail, stay. Boat, boat, draw, draw, sail, sail, stay, stay. Boat, boat, draw, draw, sail, sail, stay, stay. Boat, draw, sail, stay. Boat, draw, sail, stay. Hull, curve, hull, known, boat, draw. We found 400 drawings in his room, stacked in every corner, every gloom of the wardrobe and the space beneath the bed. All the same boat, all the same instead of living in a life that felt like land. He sailed 1,000 times with the same hand. My son has started drawing boats at school. Same harbor, same mast, same impossible rule. They say the dead release the dreams they carried, but that harbor kept on drawing itself. I do not need the water to be real. I only need the boat to keep appearing. Keep appearing. Trust the paper. My great uncle drew a boat for 30 years. Same boat every winter through the tears, sailing somewhere none of us could see, crossing a horizon only he believed. My son drew the same boat yesterday at school, getting every curve right without a rule. Leave your mark. We are still drawing. The desk is still warm. The pencil is still his. The paper remembers every harbor he could not reach. by a man with a government tag. Laces still tied the way he tied them last. Double knotted like he knew the forecast. My mother held the bag without looking in. For 3 days on the table, paper thin. Keep holding. Some packages take time to open. My uncle finally cut the string one night. Laid the boots out underneath the light. They were clean, which was the hardest part. Someone had cleaned them close to breaking heart. Polished the toe caps, brushed the mud from where the sole had cracked from something we could not bear. My mother touched the left one at the heel, where he always wore it down from how he'd feel. The boots are pulling me under. I can hear the leather thunder. They came back cleaner than he ever kept them. Somebody polished what the ground had left them. Walked for me across the floor. Bootlace clean back, bootlace clean back, bootlace clean, clean back, back. Bootlace clean back, back. Bootlace clean back. Clean back. Polish heel, polish known. Bootlace. We put him in the wardrobe on the floor. Still tied the way he tied them at the door. Every winter someone checks they're there. Opens up the wardrobe, breathes the air. That leather holds a particular cold, a temperature that never gets too old. My nephew measured his foot against the sole. Last summer in the dark beside the cold. They say the dead released the shoes they wore, but those boots kept his knot for 30 years. I do not need him walking through the door. I only need the boots to still be in the wardrobe, in the wardrobe. Trust the double knot. The boots arrived in a brown paper bag, delivered by a man with a government tag. Coming back without the feet that filled them, cleaner than the hands that should have held them. My nephew tried them on this afternoon, walking in the dark of someone else's room. Leave your mark, we are still lace. The wardrobe is still closed, the knot is still his. The boots remember every road he never finished. Found a cassette inside a biscuit tin, labeled in a hand we had not seen. My father held it up against the light, said he recognized the writing from a night 40 years before in someone's car, driving somewhere underneath a star. Keep listening. Some voices wait decades to be heard. We had no player left inside the house. Spent a Sunday quiet as a mouse, driving to 3 different charity shops, looking for a player that still stops and starts the way the old ones used to do. Finally found one dusty black and blue, brought it home and sat around the thing. Not one of us was ready for the spring.
The cassette is pulling me under. I can hear the tape head thunder.
We pressed play and held our breath as one, waiting for a voice we thought was done. Speak to me from inside the tape. Sing something without words, just a melody that moved like birds through a room we had not heard and filled since before the house had gone so still. He was young on that tape, younger than any memory we had of the man. We sat there till the tape ran out. Silent in the end, but that cassette held 40 years of him. I do not need the words to understand.